Have you ever caught yourself wondering, will I be able to stay in my own home as I get older? Maybe you've even said out loud, I just want to live out my days in peace in my own space with my own routines. If that thought has ever crossed your mind, you're not alone, and you're not wrong for wanting that. There's something incredibly comforting about waking up in your own bed, sipping coffee from your favorite mug, and being surrounded by memories instead of white hospital walls or the sound of someone else's TV down the hall. The truth is, most people don't want to end up in a nursing home. Not because those places are all bad, but because they're not home. There's a sense of freedom, pride, and identity that comes from living independently. And while aging can bring challenges, it doesn't mean you have to give up your independence. Not if you take care of the right things now. So today, let's have a heart-to-heart. Because there are simple habits, little things you can do daily or weekly, that make a huge difference. And when you stack those small actions together, they add up to a life where you stay stronger, sharper, safer, and happily at home. No white walls, no cafeteria trays, no fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. We're going to talk about 7 powerful habits that help you avoid the nursing home path and instead keep you thriving right where you belong. These habits aren't extreme, and they're not just for the super fit or the super disciplined. They're practical, doable, and honestly, they feel good. So let's start with one of the biggest game changers of all, movement. Now, before you sigh and think, oh, here we go with the exercise talk again, hear me out. I'm not saying you need to join a gym or start training for a marathon. I'm talking about intentional daily movement, the kind that keeps your joints from stiffening up and your balance steady. Things like walking around the block, stretching in your living room, doing light housework, or even dancing to music while you're making dinner. It's not about performance. It's about consistency. The more you move, the more your body remembers how to move. And movement isn't just physical, it's emotional too. It boosts your mood, sharpens your mind, and gives you that I'm still in control feeling that's easy to lose as we get older. Even 5 minutes here, and there makes a difference. So if your knees crack or your back twinges, don't give in to the couch. Get up, move gently, move often. Your future self will thank you for it. That brings us right into something else that's often overlooked but incredibly powerful. Staying socially connected. And no, I don't mean big parties or busy events. I mean real, meaningful connection. Talking with someone who listens, laughing with a friend, sharing a memory with your kids or grandkids. Even a 5-minute phone call can remind you that you're still a part of something bigger than yourself. Isolation is one of the sneakiest reasons people end up declining faster than they should. It can mess with your mood, your motivation, and even your memory. But here's the good news. Connection does require a crowd. Maybe it's inviting a neighbor over for tea. Maybe it's joining a local walking group or even an online book club. And sometimes it's just reaching out to someone you haven't talked to in a while and saying, hey, I was thinking about you. Because staying in your home long-term isn't just about keeping your body healthy. It's about keeping your spirit alive. You need laughter. You need love. You need those little conversations that remind you who you are. When you have those, it's amazing how much brighter and more motivated you feel to take care of everything else. And speaking of taking care, let's talk about your surroundings. One of the biggest risks to staying independent isn't illness. It's accidents. And the most common place they happen? Right at home. That's why the next habit is all about creating a safe space. A home that helps you, not hinders you. Simple changes can go a long way. Think of things like removing loose rugs, making sure your bathroom has grab bars, using night lights in the hallway, or switching to slip-resistant shoes. These little updates may not seem exciting, but they prevent falls, which are the number one reason so many people end up in long-term care facilities. It's not about living in fear. It's about living smart. You're not fragile. You're wise. And wise people take steps that protect their independence before something forces them to. If you make your home safer now, you stay in charge of your life later. That's a trade-off worth making. Now that we've talked about how your body moves, how your spirit stays lifted, and how your environment plays a role, let's keep going. Because there are a few more habits that tie it all together. Habits that keep you thriving, not just surviving, in your own home for years to come One of the most powerful things you can do to keep living well at home is surprisingly simple, but so many people underestimate it. It's staying mentally sharp. See, the mind is like a muscle. If we stop challenging it, engaging it, or feeding it with new things, it can slowly start to drift. That forgetfulness, that fogginess, that feeling of, why did I come into this room again? It doesn't have to be inevitable. Keeping your brain active is one of the strongest defenses you have against losing independence. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe it's reading a book that makes you think, doing a crossword over your morning coffee, learning something new, like a hobby you've always been curious about. Even watching a documentary or having a deep conversation with someone can spark those neurons and keep your mind humming. And if you're thinking, well, I've never been a puzzle or book type, don't worry. Mental activity comes in all shapes. Cooking a new recipe, organizing a drawer, writing a letter to a friend. These are all ways to stay mentally engaged. The key is doing something that stretches you just a little. Something that keeps your brain on its toes. Because when your mind stays sharp, you make better choices, you stay safer, and you stay in control of your day-to-day life. Now, as important as it is to keep your mind working, it's just as important to be honest with yourself about your health, and that means keeping up with your checkups. I know. Nobody looks forward to doctor visits, and it's tempting to skip them when you feel fine. But here's the thing, a little prevention now can save you from a big problem later. Staying on top of your health doesn't mean running to the doctor every time you have a sniffle. It means staying consistent with your routine care, checking your blood pressure, keeping tabs on your medications, and doing the screenings that your doctor recommends. These habits help catch issues before they turn into emergencies. And the sooner something is spotted, the easier it usually is to treat. But this habit goes beyond just showing up for appointments. It's also about speaking up. If something feels off, say so. Don't wait. You know your body better than anyone. When you speak up early, you're being proactive, not a bother. And when you stay proactive, you stay out of the hospital, out of assisted care, and in your own home, right where you want to be. There's something else that doesn't get talked about enough when it comes to thriving at home as you age, and that's nutrition. Because what you eat becomes even more important after 60. Food isn't just fuel. It's medicine, strength, energy, and mood all rolled into one. And the way we eat can either support our independence or slowly chip away at it. Now, I'm not saying you have to go vegan or give up your favorite comfort foods. But making small shifts like adding more colorful vegetables, cutting back on processed sugar, or staying hydrated throughout the day, those things matter more than you might realize. The right nutrition can reduce inflammation, improve energy, help with joint pain, and even support better brain function. If preparing meals feels like a chore, there are ways to make it easier. You could batch cook a few simple meals at once and freeze them, or invite a friend or a neighbor over and cook together. It turns a task into something joyful. And if grocery shopping is a hassle, see if your local store delivers or if someone in your family can help you create a meal plan for the week. Eating well isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. And here's something that ties all of this together: your attitude, your outlook, that quiet voice inside that says, I'm still capable. I've still got things to enjoy. I'm still here for a reason. Because one of the biggest differences between people who thrive at home and those who don't is mindset. When you believe in your ability to adapt, to grow, to keep learning, and to care for yourself in new ways, you naturally do more to protect that independence. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about seeing each day as a chance to make your life a little brighter. Whether it's finding joy in small routines, appreciating what your body can do instead of focusing on what it can't, or simply choosing to stay curious. These mental habits shape the way we age more than anything else. And I want you to know, you don't have to be fearless to stay independent. You just have to be willing to try, willing to ask for help when you need it, willing to take care of your health before it becomes a crisis. That kind of courage, the quiet kind, it's what makes all the difference. Now, there's still a couple of habits that bring it all home. Habits that pull together everything we've talked about and give you the best chance at aging gracefully on your terms in your space. Because you deserve that. You've earned that. Let's keep going. When we talk about staying independent and avoiding the nursing home, there's one habit that often flies under the radar, yet it might be the most practical one of all: keeping your home safe and senior-friendly. It doesn't matter how sharp your mind is or how strong your body feels if your living space is full of little hazards just waiting to trip you up. And I mean that literally. Falls are one of the top reasons older adults end up in the hospital. And from there, many never quite regain their full independence. But here's the good news. Most falls are preventable. You don't need to turn your home into a fortress or spend a fortune. Just a few small changes can make a huge difference. Think about things like removing throw rugs that slide, making sure the lighting is bright and even, adding grab bars near the shower or toilet, or placing commonly used items within easy reach so you're not climbing or stretching. This is where you might ask a trusted friend, your kids, or even a home safety specialist to walk through your space with fresh eyes. Sometimes we don't see the things we've gotten used to until someone points them out. This isn't about making your home look like a hospital. It's about creating a space that supports your freedom, not one that threatens it. Now, while keeping your environment safe is essential, there's one last habit that ties all of this together, and it has nothing to do with exercise or diet. It's about staying connected, staying social, staying involved in something beyond yourself. Loneliness is more dangerous than people realize. It's been linked to heart disease, depression, even a shorter lifespan. And when we feel isolated, we're more likely to stop taking care of ourselves, to stop reaching out, to give up on the very habits that help us thrive. But when we feel connected, when we have a reason to get up, someone to talk to, something to look forward to, we stay engaged with life. Now, connection looks different for everyone. Maybe it's your weekly phone call with your grandkids. Maybe it's chatting with your neighbor on the porch. Maybe it's joining a walking group or attending a local community event. Some people find joy in volunteering, or even joining an online group that shares their interests. What matters most is that you're not withdrawing from the world. You're still in it, still part of it. Even a pet can provide that connection and sense of purpose. Caring for something else, having a little routine, even just a companionship of a furry friend can bring joy and structure to your day. And don't be afraid to ask for connection. If you're feeling a little alone, there is no shame in saying, "I'd love some company," or "Can we schedule a regular check-in?" People who care about you want to be there for you, but sometimes they just need the invitation. So, let's take a moment to reflect. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. But if you're building even just a few of these habits into your life, moving your body, keeping your mind sharp, eating with intention, staying on top of your health, keeping your space safe, and staying connected, you are doing more than most people ever do to protect your independence. You are choosing to age with purpose, and that matters. Every small step you take today is an investment in the freedom you'll enjoy tomorrow, because independence isn't about doing everything alone. It's about being in charge of your life, having a say in how you live, where you live, and what makes you happy. If this video spoke to you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share one habit you're already doing or one you want to try. Your story might inspire someone else. And if you found this helpful, go ahead and give it a like. It helps the video reach more people who need it. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips on how to live fully, stay strong, and make the most of every chapter of life. You deserve a life that feels good to wake up to, a home that feels like your space, a body and mind that support the things you love. You deserve to thrive, not just survive. Here's to living with joy, with purpose, and with the power to choose your own path at any age. You've got this.